Welcome to our February Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service. I'd like to begin by reading the names of those who've passed away in the month of February. Hiroji Aochi, Shiro Aochi, Arata Akahoshi, Nobuta Akahoshi, Misai Cronin, Fusa Doi, Kiku Fuji, Arata Fujikawa, Masako Fujikawa, Kuni Fujimoto, Yoshiko Fujishima, Junko Jun Fujita, Fudekichi Fukuda, Itaro Harada, Seki Harada, Toshiyuki Jack Harada, Masatoshi Hashimoto, Yoshiko Hashimoto, Akino Hemmi, Sataro Hirai, Fumiko Hiramatsu, Koyoshi Idehara, Hatsu Igaki, Hisashi Ikeda, Charles Ishizu, Harvey Clay Johnson, Suejiro Kanada, George Kanagaki, Naoichi Kanishige, Keijiro Kataoka, Masuko Kataoka, Sakai Kataoka, Wes Kawabata, Tad Kawamura, Shuzo Kawaoka, Rikizo Kido, Sagao Kido, Toshiharu Kimura, Jinpachi Kitagaki, Mieko Kitagaki, Kimi Michelle Clevin, Yutaka Kobori, Jane Koizumi, Thomas Koizumi, Kotaro Komoda, Taka Kono, Sugie Kuroki, Tsutai Lachika, Kashichi Matsui, Nobuko Matsui, Saburo Matsui, Shigeru Matsumoto, Toku Matsutani, Lin Mifune, Jisaku Minamoto, Tokio Minamoto, Yukiko Mitsueda, Hatsu Miyamoto, Fujitaro Miyauchi, Shigeko Mizuki, Sam Mizusaki, Sakai Mori, Yukio Mori, Hisa Murakawa, James Murashima, Trang Ngak Mai, Shizue Nakai, Fred Nakamura, Kei Nakamura, Masayoshi Nakamura, Shozo Nakamura, Toki Nakamura, Tei Nakao, Harry Nakaya, Tase Nakayama, Judy Narasaki, Hisa Natsuhara, Jinpachi Nishimura, Shosuke Nobori, Yae Nobori, Hisai Noda, Amy Noma, Hatsuko Nomura, James Susumu Nomura, Nadine Ohara, Mitsuo Okashima, Fumiko Okawachi, Kazuichi Oseto, Makoto Otsuka, Jane Sodlander Phillips, Nihachiro Sakaki, Faith Sasaki, Toyohiko Sata, Mitsu Shigaya, Mio Shigemoto, Yoshiharu Shimada, Taizan Shimizu, Hatsumi Shohara, Keiko Soda, George Soga, Frank Takahashi, Hina Takahashi, Tsuruko Takahashi, Yana Tanaka, Tani Family, Jitsuo Tani, Itsuzo Taniguchi, Mitsugi Taniguchi, Edward Tanita, Matsu Terada, Tora Toji, Sakitaro Toyofuku, Same Toyofuku, Shizu Tsuboi, Tamotsu Tsuchida, Teruki Tsuchida, Hikotaro Tsuda, A. Tsujimoto, Fumiya Umemoto, Sachiko Umemoto, Mark Umetani, Kenji Urushibata, Ura Urushibata, Kazuhiko Ueno, Hana Wada, Joe Wakayama, Nobuo Watanabe, Harold Wong, Marie Wong, Kajiko Yamasaki, Kimi Yamashita, Kaheiji Yokomizo, Eiichi Yoshida, Kamehisa Yoshida, Kino Yoshida, Ruby Yoshida, Hikoichi Yoshioka, Kiichi Yoshioka, Kisaku Yoshioka, Nao Yoshioka, Danjiro Yoshisato, Kimie Yoshiura, Craig Matthew Young, Cho Saburo Yuto. Next we will have Sutra chanting, and today we will chant Sanbutsuge, and you can chant along or think about your loved ones that are being honored during the chanting. Namandam, 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 namandam. Tosha Nichigatmani Shuko Enyo Kai Shipnom Pe Yunyaku Jumok Nyorai Yogen
朝鮮無人小学第四こぬ実法開門精進三昧知恵意徳無量主生慶人体前年小仏北海愚人人の空語外体無明欲ぬ世尊読む人の死死人徳無量空君古代知恵人妙光明一層神道大仙願が差仏在所法多度生じ未不下脱不正上位解任精進如是三昧知恵以上五世特部不行志願一切空空一切大安決しうぶ百千億万無量大小春行五者供養一切死と小仏不尿具道検証不客頻尿五者小仏世界不不可け無種sep道光明師匠変師諸国如是精進異人難女両が差部国土第一五種奇妙道場超絶国如内容リムトソガトアイミンドダプニサイジポ内緒シネプ少女イトガ国ケラクアンノコブプ神妙ゼガ神書ホプガンの非力少々欲実法世尊知恵無下上女子孫知が信行権量心死食毒中行精進臨終不敬ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブガ Jon
Okay, thank you very much once again for joining us for our Shotsuki Hoyo for February. This semester I'm teaching a class on the 3 Pure Land Sutras. These are the core texts of our school of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, of this kind of school of Pure Land Buddhism. When we chant Juseige, Sanbutsuge, like today with Sanbutsuge, that's a section from the larger sutra of immeasurable life. When we did in person, we chanted Amida Kyo sometimes for the Shotsuki. That's one of the 3 Pure Land Sutras. That's the smallest one. But right now in the class, I am teaching about the larger sutra, the Sutra of Immeasurable Life. And one of the most important parts of the sutra is what's called the vows, the 48 vows of Amida Buddha. And you can tell how important they are. They're in the name of our mother temple in Japan, Honganji. Sometimes it's spelled Hongguanji, but it's pronounced Honganji. The W is silent. But Hongan means primal vows, the original vows of Dharmakara Bodhisattva who became Amida Buddha. So one of the vows that came up in the class that I'd like to talk a little bit about this today is that everyone in the Pure Land is of the same appearance. So the Pure Land as this realm of Amida Buddha, he's there preaching, is the kind of traditional understanding, and people are born there. So, in one sense, it's kind of like a paradise. In another sense, it's a Buddha land. It's a place you can go to listen to a Buddha preach and actually meet the Buddha and try and become a Buddha yourself. Now, Shinran's understanding is different. Shinran, I think, understands the Pure Land as enlightenment itself. But for now, let's kind of run with this idea of the Pure Land having some aspect of people being there. And there's this one vow. There's actually 2 vows, but the one I kind of wanted to focus on that we're looking at in class is like this. Well, this is the version from Hisao Inagaki, who was one of my teachers when I was in Japan, has done a lot of wonderful translations. He actually passed away last year, but this is his translation. If, when I attain Buddhahood, humans and devas in my land should not all be of one appearance, and should there be any difference in beauty, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. So this is a bodhisattva, Dharmakara bodhisattva, Hozo Bosatsu, making these vows, these promises. It's almost like a contract of what he wants his Buddha land to be like. I'm going to do my translation. So for the class, I get to look at one of the things we like to do, or I like to do, is look really closely at the Chinese, the original text, and see how it matches up with the English translation. And we actually have a bunch of different translations. So Inagaki Sensei's translation is great, but here's what I tried to do to make it a little more literal. When I attain Buddhahood, if there is anyone in my land without the same appearance, and if there is beauty and ugliness, may I not attain perfect awakening. So it was kind of fun to go through character by character, look them up on the internet, and look at the modern meanings, but also keeping in mind that some of the Buddhist meanings are different. So it has characters for appearance. The first character is Gyo or Kei, Katachi, which is like shape or form. And then the next one is Shiki, which in Japanese is read Iro, which normally we think of as color in modern times, but it's more of a technical term of form, like physical form. And then it says Fudo, not the same. So, if anyone has if everyone's appearance isn't the same, and, Inagaki Sensei says, should there be any difference in beauty? But literally it says beautiful and ugly. And I didn't know the character for ugly. It's minikui in Japanese. I thought that meant hard to look at. Miru, see, and nikui, difficult. But this is a character, minikui. So that's what's interesting for me, is digging in and learning stuff even about modern Japanese. But anyway, so I put in, if there is beauty and ugliness. right? So if we have distinctions between, oh, this person's beautiful, this person's not good looking, right? So we have these two vows. So it's saying, you know, everyone in the Pure Land is of same appearance. No distinctions between these different people. Also the third vow, the previous vow, says if everyone in my land is not all the color of pure gold, may I not attain perfect awakening. So they're all golden in color, with no distinction in appearance. So it's really interesting, huh? To me, it's pointing towards non-discrimination, equality. Amida's enlightenment is sometimes described like this, and Shinran uses this term, byodo gaku. Byodo, we have in the echo that we chant, gan nishi ku doku, byodo sei sai, right? If it's not given equally to all. Gaku, really kaku, is awakening. So, awakening of equality, enlightenment of equality. Sometimes they call it equal enlightenment. I think I've heard, maybe it's Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto who came up with wisdom of non-discrimination, right? Things are all equal, not to be distinguished, not to be discriminated. Right? So, this amazing aspect of the Pure Land. Right? And I think that one aspect of this is that Amida Buddha accepts you as you are. Right? This compassion of Amida Buddha. There's maybe another aspect. All things are fundamentally empty. All things are actually one. Right? So this radical oneness of reality, right? That the Pure Land manifests. We don't see that here. Right? In our world, we make distinctions all the time. In a way, we almost can't survive without making these distinctions. Right? But from the point of view of wisdom, everything is equal, one. So the compassion aspect, I think, is more important for Shinran than maybe for us. Come as you are. Right? You are the recipient of this universal compassion. Amida Buddha doesn't make distinctions. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you, come on in. Right? Amida Buddha doesn't do that. Amida Buddha accepts everyone as they are. But, you know, the wisdom aspect is maybe important too. But you don't have to understand that in order to entrust in the Buddha. But maybe once you're brought to entrust in the Buddha, that understanding manifests, right? That wisdom, I think, is really important. The equality, and, you know, we see that all beings are equal. We don't have that in our society, right? Racial discrimination, gender discrimination. We don't treat animals, even go beyond human beings, right? And we eat animals. We kill insects. So but from the point of view of Buddha, all life has the same value. Really kind of radical. And so these two aspects. Beings in the Pure Land are all equal. And this is an ideal and maybe a value that if only our world could be like that. But then also the wisdom aspect, that's the compassion aspect, right? Then the wisdom aspect too. It's all one. It's all coursing in this oneness of awakening. Now, another interesting thing though that I think of because of who I am, because of where, you know, the way things are and everything, is does this betray kind of a lack of diversity? Right? That everyone looks the same, right? Everyone has the same appearance. And so on one side, obviously this is a positive. It's kind of like when people say, I don't see color. I don't see white person or black person or Asian person. I just see human being, right? And that sounds good, but sometimes that can be harmful, right? And so I would ask that question of the Pure Land. Is there harm being done here with this lack of diversity? Now, there are expressions, for example, in the Amida Kyo, the smaller sutra that we chant sometimes. And here's a translation. In the ponds are lotuses as large as chariot wheels. The blue ones radiating blue light. The yellow ones radiating yellow light. The red ones, red light. The white ones, white light. That's the part that's like byakushiki byakko, hakushiki hakko. when we chant it, there's a part when it's like you start saying kind of similar things. So maybe that's an expression of diversity in the Pure Land too, right? I'm not sure. That's one place we can kind of look. But maybe it's a balance of the two. And this is maybe where the wisdom aspect comes into play, because even though Buddha is said to awaken to the oneness of all things, Buddha also understands that karma is functioning in our world in samsara, right? And that there are distinctions being made here. And Buddha understands that too. So recognizing the essential oneness of all, and yet also aware of diversity. So that to me, maybe there's a middle way here, as usual, right? But that equality, oneness, with an acceptance also of diversity and difference, that it's okay to be different. We don't all have to believe the same thing. We don't all have to give up my identity as whatever I am, whatever you are, right? We each have our own unique story. It has race, it has culture, it has gender, it has sexual preference, it has just family history, it has all this different stuff. We don't have to erase that and just all be one, right? We can all be one and yet also have that, I like to think. And I think probably the Pure Land is on board with that too. I'm sure Amida Buddha is. I'd like to think Amida Buddha is. So, what's the wish of the people on the list? On all of the lists, right? But for February, I'm sure the people on the list want us to be happy. I'm sure the people on the list, having become awakened, having been born in the Pure Land, want us to be happy, but also want us to be able to be ourselves. That's what I love about Jodo Shinshu. I really am coming to see it as a kind of Buddhism that points us in the direction of those ideals, those ideal values, oneness, equality, right? Happiness, but also allowing us to be ourselves, allowing me to be who I am, that I don't have to feel like, oh, I'm still attached, or I still have desires, or I still get angry. I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. No, actually, that's who I am. And yet, really coming to live that transforms me as well. So I want to thank you very much for joining us for our February Shotsuki Hoyo. Why don't we conclude with Gassho, reciting the Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, we'd like to make a few announcements. Once again, we hope to reopen the temple by now. We had planned on it in January, but we're still not quite ready. We've actually put it off until Spring Ohigan, which is going to be March 20th at the earliest. So that's kind of what we're aiming for at this point, to have in-person outdoor service for Spring Ohigan, weather permitting. Right? There's a few online events before that, and one of them being the previous weekend will be our BCA, Buddhist Churches of America, Eitaikyo service, and we're being asked to participate in that virtually. If you want to join BCO or even just get on the mailing list, see the link in the description. Check out our other videos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always check out the website. Hit the like button for this video if you liked it. That helps. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is, in the past, this has been the Shotsuki Hoyo Monthly Memorial and Adult Dharma Service. Right? And that's because when we used to have in-person services, we'd have the Dharma family service first, excuse the kids to go to their classes, and then have the Shotsuki Hoyo. And I didn't feel comfortable saying, if you're not a Shotsuki family, you have to leave. Right? So that's why, to me, it wasn't exclusively Shotsuki. It was Shotsuki, but also just for, an adult Dharma service. But we're going to change the schedule. Because of COVID, we're going to have, when we get back to in-person, we're going to have Shotsuki Hoyo at 11:30 and on that weekend. And so I think it's really going to be mainly, if not exclusively, for Shotsuki families, because we need to keep the numbers down. And so or we want to keep the numbers down. So just be aware of that. That's why at the beginning I said, welcome to our Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service. And I think we're gonna run with that for a while. Okay, thank you very much. We'll have the virtual incense offering, and please take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Why don't we conclude actually with Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay. Bye. Thank you.